Yo, this is the first video for beginners tattoo artists. In this video, I'll be talking about the do's and don'ts of tattooing and, how to set up equipment and things of that nature. I'm Machine Gun Tatter of Getting Studios, Detroit, Michigan, and let's get started with this video. Hopefully you all will find it helpful. First things off, sanitary purposes, you would want to use a disposable tube. They come in little package. They're pre-packaged and sterile. It makes you look good when you use them, and it's an added comfort versus using stainless steels. Now, I use stainless steel simply because I have an autoclave cleaner. Not all people have those, so stick to those. Another thing, we'll be talking about the different types of needles, and this is a 3-round liner. This is only for using when you're doing a tattoo that requires a lot of detail. So this is a 3-round liner, completely sterile. That's that. And another thing, gloves. You always want to keep gloves on hand. Don't go off word of, oh, I don't have this and that. That's very dangerous for not only you, but the client as well. So, Phantom Black tattooing gloves, that's a personal preference for mine. And a lot of beginners, they use scratcher equipment, which I do not use, and I start off with pro equipment. What was I going to say? Oh yeah. You would always want to make sure your gun is, your gun is your gun when you're tattooing. So, this is my personal favorite. All steel equipment, and it's very, very reliable. It's never given out. It's consistent and flowing. But I only break this one out when, the situation demands it. I have multiple guns. This is a good one too. I don't use this one as much, but all of them are good. This one here, these are good. And I have this one here. This one. Now, a question I am commonly asked when, with potential tattoo artists, they say, is tattooing hard? No, it is not if you know what you're doing, but it is not easy at all. So if you can't just pick up a gun once and say, I'm a tattoo artist. And another thing, and I cannot stand this, when someone takes other tattoo artists' work off the internet, say, and pass it off as their own. Like, that's like a tattoo sin. You will not make a dime if you do that. And it's a policy I've followed since I got started. Another thing, basic setup here. This is a foot pedal here. It's real reliable. It's steel as well, because spring-loaded foot pedals, they are unreliable and they give out. This here, standard clipboard. These are fucking $10, and you can find them at any tattoo shop or online. These are $10 as well. Now, when you're getting started, because a lot of tattoo artists or potential tattoo artists, they want to start off without putting a lot of money into their business. And they'll start off with a box that looks similar to this one. I do not use this one at all. This is one I picked up just for this segment here. And now I use a digital power supply simply because it's easier. But I mean, don't get me wrong, I started off using one of those, and it's helpful, and it helps you get to know your gun a lot better. So, well, let's get started with the setup. Your clip cord here. You want to plug it into your gun. There. Now, you may come across like problems setting up. I mean, it's relatively easy. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to set up a tattoo gun. Now, the real skill comes from when you're tattooing and how crisp your lines are and things like that. If you're using a digital power supply, I recommend that you start off lining at, say, a 7 or 8. No more than a 7 or 8. Or depending on how your gun works, but like I say, like, use a non-digital power supply when you're getting started to know your guns a lot better than what you do. And it'll come easy all in time. Now, setup is pretty much done once you got the basics down of applying your clip cord and foot pedal into the right holes. It does not take a lot of work. That's my gun going. Consistent flow, and it works really good. That's one of mine. Now, when applying a stencil, I would recommend stencil stuff. Like I say, I'm a Detroiter, so I go to Motor City Tattoo Supplies to buy, like, accessories, so to speak. I don't buy my ink from there. Another thing with ink, you want to have a reputable name as far as ink goes. I mean, I use Starbright and Intense, and I recently started using Bloodline. They're like top of the line ink. I'm not going to give off the specific names of the bad ink. Just do your research when you're getting started, because I don't want to down anybody's business or whatever. But make sure the ink you use is good, because it can fuck up your rep. And your rep is the most important thing you could have in the tattooing industry. Alright, now with stencil, you would apply stencil stuff to the area where you're tattooing. My tattoo shop has a thermal machine, and some don't have that, so they would trace it over, and it would leave a carbon residue on the skin, which would be the stencil, and you would go over that. Now, when you're going over that, you would not want to wipe you'd want to wipe the ink off exactly where it's at. Don't wipe over the whole stencil, or else you're screwed, especially if you're one of those tattoo artists who aren't the best drawer, but you can trace your ass off. So don't do that. That's definitely a no-no. Now, back to the paper towel wiping method. You would want to wipe with a dry towel first, and then after you wipe with the dry towel, hit it with a wet towel. Of course, you would use green soap, this stuff here. Wipe with the dry one first, and then go over with green soap. And for those of who are not tattoo artists but still want some tattoo info, know your tattoo artists. Everybody is not sanitary out there. There are some who would wash needles, and it's just nasty business to wind up catching hepatitis or worse, especially when you're you know who you sleep with. So be careful with that. Make sure it's in a sterile pack. If you go to a tattoo party, make sure they have all sterile equipment. One of these in a package. When at a shop, make sure they have sterile equipment as well. Ask to see some of their work. Don't be afraid to apply yourself and ask. Like I say, I'm Machine Gun Tatter, and this was my first video of tattooing. And stay tuned to my site. And I will always be uploading videos of me tattooing and giving further instruction. This video here was simply an informational piece on setup, sanitary usage, and basically the things I went over. And once again, with your tattoo gun, make sure you know your shit. It should have a consistent flow, such as that. It's not hard to go spend a couple extra dollars to get good equipment. You know, if you all have further info, leave a comment. Comments and likes are appreciated, and I hope this video has helped you all. You can email me at tattooartist74@yahoo.com if you need to. To all you beginner tattoo artists that are seeing this, you know, I wish you all nothing but the best in your work, and good luck. And like I say, and keep this as a rule of thumb: sanitary is everything, and your rep is most important. So if you give out shitty tattoos, no one's gonna want to mess with you. So definitely put your all into your tattooing and stay safe and sanitary. I know I keep going back on when I say, you know, that's all, but I feel that this is a very important piece. Beginner tattooing artists, I know that the money may sound, you know, like whatever you charge them may sound right at the time, but do not tattoo minors. It is very frowned upon, and you can get in a lot of trouble for it. Um, Another thing, house calls. Do not, you know, the money may sound right, but it could be something wrong with the clients who you're going to do the house call for. So not all money is good money. Just keep that in mind. Tattooing minors is frowned upon, and so are house calls. I wouldn't do them. You know, like I say, I wish you all the best in your tattooing career, and this is Machine Gun Tatter signing off.